up, everybody? What up, everybody? Let's talk about it. It's April Dawn. What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. Let's talk about it. Everybody, it's April Dawn. Let's talk about it. This is The Shy, Season 3, Episode 10. Okay, everybody, I thought this episode was okay. We did finally get an answer to some question, and they kind of ended everything on a maybe we not coming back next season type of note, you know, but I wanted a little bit more, but it is what it is. So let's go ahead and get into it. So we start off with the funeral of Ronnie. So we have Callie Day, the legendary Miss Callie Day. If y'all don't know her, search the internet, the YouTube. She's all over there. I've seen her live. She's amazing. Like, her voice is amazing. Like, I love it. It's amazing. Like, to see her do what she did live is astounding, okay? She's singing at the funeral, down at the funeral, okay? And his friends are family. Well, he ain't got no family, but his friends are there. So we got Kevin and the kids are there, or Papa and the kids. Emmett and Jada are there. We have Tracy's there. Everybody's there. Even his friends that moved to Springfield are also there. So they're there to give Ronnie a tribute. And the pastor is giving a eulogy about his life and saying that, you know, we're mourning his life and he will be in heaven to meet his grandmother, which I thought that was nice. Then we have a flashback to him walking out of the house where he rescued Keisha when Keisha ran into the street. And so he runs out after her and he kind of calls her name, and they're standing in the street together, and she turns to him and she hugs him. And then we see Keisha get up with her flowers, and she puts the flowers on his casket, and she looks so pretty with her little press and everything. She looked very nice. The pastor says, does anybody have final words to say before they, you know, close the casket and take him out of there? And everyone stands up. His friends stand up and say, you know, they love him and they're going to miss him. Tracy stands up and says that she's sorry. And like I said, Keisha brings flowers. It was so nice. It was beautiful. And she tells him, thank you. Shout out to Ronnie. We're going to miss him on this show. So then we see everybody going to the gravesite. And Emmett complains about him getting shot in front of his restaurant on opening day, and Jada quickly lets him know that, boy, everything ain't about you, and somebody is dead, okay? So we need to have some respect for the dead. So he goes up to Keisha and asks Keisha if she's okay, and she's like, I don't really know what to do or whatever. And he was like, well, if you need somebody to talk to, you can always talk to me. And she tells him, no, I don't want to talk to you about this. And he's like, try me. And she says, well, I'm pregnant. And he was like, and he tries to make a joke about, this is the first time anybody's ever told me they were pregnant and it wasn't for me. And although it was like he was trying to be humorous, it wasn't cute, and she didn't like it. And she was like, boy, bye, okay? And he was just like, I'm sorry. I was just trying to lighten up the mood. I didn't mean to like hurt you or whatever. And he says, well, what are you going to do about the baby? And she says she don't know what she's going to do. She's still trying to figure that out. Next, we see the kids on the way to the gravesite. And Jake is like, damn, I know a lot of people that's happy he's dead. And Papa was like, man, don't say that. You know, he wasn't all bad. Basically, he killed somebody. And then, you know, but he also did some good for people too. So he wasn't all bad or whatever. So a saint is just a sinner who fell down, okay? And they was like, who's saying that? He was like, I think it's, you know, it's like Yolanda Adams or Donnie McClurkin. And they was like, that gay dude? I said, oh my God. Don't do that! And Kevin said, well, I guess not no more. He is delivered, honey. As they are saying that, the police pull up and they looking for Stanley Jackson.
Stanley Jackson, are you on the premises?
Stanley Jackson is on the premises. This is Papa's daddy, the pastor, and he is getting arrested for money laundering. So they take him on to the jailhouse. I said, uh-oh, he done got arrested down to the fume. So we see Emmett and Tiffany. They're talking to her mother. I think they're talking to her mother, or that was their therapist. I'm not sure who that was. I think that was her mama, because later on Jada made a reference to her mama or whatever. But y'all, when they was talking about they thought they was going to have the reception at Red Lobster, but it was too expensive. Child, I screamed in my house. I screamed. I said, baby, y'all po, okay? Y'all po for real. Basically, she's saying, wow, you know, you decided to do this. And then she was like, yeah, it's about time, you know. And she tells him, you know, I'm not about to, I'm going to let you make it, basically, because you forgot to get the appointment for the license, the marriage license. And they was going back and forth about things they needed to do or whatever. And the lady's just looking at them like, y'all sure y'all ready to do this? You trying to convince? You trying to convince me, or you trying to convince yourself? She's their therapist, because she says, I'm a sister from the hood. You know, even don't let these 3 degrees fool you, girl, and this dashiki fool you, girl. I'm still from the hood, and I'm going to keep it a buck. Okay, I'm going to keep it 100. Okay, are y'all ready to go into marriage? Marriage is not something to be entered into lightly, and you should be two mature people who are ready to compromise and deal with each other, basically. And they're like, well, you don't think we mature? And she was like, I didn't say that. And she was like, listen, I've been putting up with this nigga for I don't know how long. It's time for us to get married, okay? So are you gonna give us your blessing or not? See, that's what confused me when they asked for the blessing. I was like, wait a minute, is that her therapist or her mama? I can't remember. So she was like, you don't need my blessing. They was like, you know what, bet. And they got up and left. So then we see the kids smoking and talking or whatever. And Papa's just kind of venting about his dad. And Jake was just like, man, you know, saying, you know, people be shady or whatever. He said he saw the money that he took and they were like, is that illegal? Well, I don't know if that's illegal. I mean, it could be. And Papa was just like, listen, I don't know nothing about this life or whatever. Jake said, you think we do? And he was like, listen, you was about to be in a gang, bro. And Kevin, you shot somebody. Kevin was like, don't do that. Don't do that. I'm sorry. I'm just not used to this life or whatever. I'm not used to dealing with this type of situation. He said his mama won't tell him nothing and his daddy is gone or whatever. So if his dad leaves, will he have to be head of the household? And he said he's not ready for the world to end. I felt so bad for him. Harry is with Gemma's dad. And he's telling him that the pastor got arrested for money laundering. And, you know, he don't want to go to jail. So he's singing, you know, he's singing like a bird. I feel like this is the result of some of the paperwork that Jake turned in. I don't know if Camille didn't turn it over to the news, but if she maybe turned it over to the authorities to get him arrested, because she didn't win the election. So it seems like, you know, like something she could do, just turn it in, because how would they know he was money laundering? I feel like it's about to be another case against Otis. Keisha is talking to Jada basically about what she wants to do. Does she want to have an abortion or does she not want to have an abortion? And she says, you know, everything that I say to you, you say to me will be private. And she says, well, what are you going to do? And did you have regrets about having Emmett? And she said, no, I didn't have any regrets. But at that time, I was so scared. I didn't really even know, you know, that you could have an abortion. Like, I just thought when you got pregnant, you had to have the baby. And so she tells her, I don't know which decision to make. And she's like, whatever decision you make is going to be the right one. You need to take some time. You can talk to me, but I think there's somebody better for you to talk to. And I'll get her so we can have a conversation. I already knew it was going to be Tiffany because she's the only other person with a baby that we don't know about, okay? The baby that stayed in babyland. So Trig and Imani are getting ready for court. And he's very nervous. It's so cute how much he loves his brother that he's so nervous about going to court to try to get him back. And Camille, he's kind of like upset because Camille hasn't moved on the information that they gave him or whatever. He's telling Imani, like, what are we going to do? Like, what are we going to do after this if we get him? And she's like, we're going to be a family together. And he was like, well, what if I have a problem leading the family? And she says, then we'll lead together. I was like, that is so sweet. That was real sweet. I like that. We see Keisha and Tiffany. They finally get into talking. We finally find out what happened to this baby child, okay? So she didn't lose the baby. She had an abortion. She said she thought long and hard about what she had to do. And she had to figure it out quick or whatever. And she said that she finally decided after soul searching that she couldn't really afford to take on another baby. So she decided to get an abortion. She said, you have to trust yourself and you don't have a lot of time. So you got to make the decision kind of quickly. And they hug. So now we know that Tiffany had an abortion. She didn't actually have the baby. So I kind of appreciate Emmett a little bit more because the only reason I thought he got back together with her was because she was pregnant or whatever. So now we can see that maybe they really do love each other. Boys are at work. They can't believe they gotta work, okay? But Kevin's like, my whole life could change like this afternoon or whatever. Or Papa said that. And Pastor comes in and he's like telling the boys, listen, what happened today, you know, was just a misunderstanding. Don't worry about it. And Papa gets the attitude with him like, no, I'm worried about it. I'm worried. And Papa's like, listen, you gotta have faith. And he was like, he said something about, are you faithful or something like that. He's like, you need to watch your mouth. You still a child. He was like, I'm not going to be a child forever. I was like, you ain't right. You're living foul, Pastor. You out here living foul. At Camille's office, we see Rose comes in. She's very upset because Camille has not used, like I said, the file against Otis. And Camille tells her, listen, I understand what you was trying to do. You're trying to use me as a pawn because your man wasn't treating you right. He wasn't giving you whatever you want out of the relationship. And so you was trying to get him back. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm not going to do is be a pawn. I want to win, but I don't want to win this way. Which is kind of weird for me. Like, right, would you write your own character, Lena, to be paying the pastor, but then at the same time, now you got integrity? Like, okay. I was just like, okay, that didn't really make no sense, but okay. She like, you cute though. You know what I'm saying? You look cute or whatever. You could go though. Bye, girl. I'm not finna do that. And I was like, that's kind of whack. Why did they set us up like they was going to use the information and they wasn't going to use the information? So this must be something that's going to carry over to next season. Now it's time for the wedding. So they're getting ready, you know, for the wedding. They're trying on outfits, basically. It's not actually time for the wedding. They're just trying on outfits. So Jada gives Tiffany one of her earrings, or some of her earrings or something like that, for something borrowed. And they talk about how Emmett has grown a lot. I don't see the growth that much, but okay. I mean, I guess. She's like, he isn't perfect, but, you know, he's perfect for her, basically. And she the only one who gonna put up with him, because Jada thanks, you know, her for dealing with her son or whatever, not standing by him, and standing by him, and she's like, I'm the only one who will, you know, put up with his mess. And so, outside, the guys are trying on outfits, Darnell and Emmett is like, hey, Dad, how you got this outfit? You know, how you pay for my suit and you pay for her dress? Like, how you did? He was like, my man hooked me up. You know what I'm saying? He hooked me up. Don't worry about it or whatever. So Emmett goes to put on the watch or something, and it still had the doggone sensor on it. So he done stole it. So he goes over to Tiffany like, man, we can't wear this mess. This shit is stolen. Like, we can't wear this. Girl, this is crazy. And Tiffany is like, we only gonna wear this at one time. What you gonna do? Bring it back to the store and say we stole it? Like, it's out the store now? It's stolen. We might as well just go ahead and win. We ain't gonna wear this no more. And Darnell was like, I knew I liked you. I was like, child, Darnell is a hot mess. They getting ready to go to court to, you know, handle this business. And he asked Jake, or Trig asked Jake if he's nervous. And Trig says, or Jake says that he's not nervous. And he's like, well, I am, or whatever. And he says, he looks at him and says, I don't care what that judge says. We're always going to be family. And I thought that was a nice moment between the two of them. Jake trying to have some lines this season. I said, come through, lines. Now we down to the bachelorette party, okay? So Tiffany is going from Mrs. to Mrs. with all my bitches, okay? I'm like, girl, this is the ghetto, okay? But okay, sis. So they having a drinking game, they having fun or whatever, and it was questions about Tiffany that Jada had asked Emmett, like her favorite food, her favorite this and that and the other, and he got all the questions wrong. Everything was wrong except for the last one, her booty and her loyalty. That's why he loved her so much. And Jada tells her that she's grateful and she feels like she's gained a daughter. I was like, oh, Jada, that's cute, because you ain't really like Tiffany that much at first. But now we're at court, and Jake says that, well, he gets up and says his piece. So he says that he doesn't want to live with Otis because Otis isn't his family. You know, he's been taking time to get to know his brother. He never had a chance to get to know him when he was younger. He's been taking time to get to know him, and it's really good for them, and he loves him and he feels safe with him, and that's where he wants to be. And so Otis didn't even show up to court. They went to go do his remarks, and Rose was like, I don't know, it must be a misunderstanding, you know, something must be wrong. And the judge was like, well, by default he didn't show up, so, you know, Trig got custody. So that was good. We had a good moment. I really appreciated that moment. That was lovely. Then we see Jake and the kids at work again, and he's telling them he's gonna quit because he can't work for Otis. He don't live with him no more. He's not gonna work for this man or whatever. And then the guys are like, or he's like, I'm about to go or whatever. And so he's like, where you about to go? I already know where you about to go, Kevin. You about to go by Jim or whatever. And he was like, tell Jim I said, what's up? I said, oh, look at you. You trying to be nice or whatever. Look at you. And then they get up to go, and Papa is there, and Maisha comes in. And he was like, what you doing here? She was like, these fools called me or whatever. So I'm like, oh, y'all called me. Y'all friend. That's so sick. Friends, how many of us have them? Aisha sits there and she tells him thank you so much, and because he called her queen, and she gives him a chain. This is her way of saying, you know, we're gonna go public now or whatever. And so he's telling her thank you for everything, and she's telling him thank you for lifting me up. They started thanking each other. I was like, this is beautiful. Like, I love it. She's like, thank you for, you know, lifting her up and being there for her and seeing her. I was like, this is beautiful. It's so cute. The children, it's cute. We see at the bachelorette party, the police come over and knock on the door. They say they being too loud. But I knew it was a stripper as soon as they opened the door, right? Because it was a pretty girl. I was like, oh, this like a stud stripper. So the girlfriend was like, girl, you told me don't invite no male strippers. So they got her female strippers, and she getting it down, honey. She tearing it up. And Jada is over there laughing, taking pictures. It was a cute moment. You know, it was nice to see some fun being had on this show. So that was cute. So Emmett is at the spa with Darnell or whatever, or at the massage place with Darnell, and he's getting ready. And Darnell is just so negative, asking him, do he get a prenup? Well, I mean, y'all ain't got no money now, but y'all might have some money later on. He was like, well, if we get money, then Tiffany deserves to have some of it. I mean, I ain't got nothing, so she gonna help me get whatever I get. So she determined. He was like, you don't want to do that. I mean, she's going to make your life miserable. She's going to do everything she can to tear you down. Sir, if you don't stop projecting your own marriage problems onto me and go ahead somewhere with that mess. And if Emmett eventually was like, man, I'm not about to do this with you. Like, shut up. Like, I don't want to hear that. Just be quiet. And so the lady come in the room is like, okay, are y'all ready for the couples massage? And he was like, couples massage? And he was like, man, the discount only work when it's the couples massage. And he said, I can't do this with you, sir. I'm not about to be laying butt naked across the room from you while you getting a massage, while you trying to get some. Now, I'm not finna do this. I'm not doing this. And he gets up and walks out the room. Hilarious. Emmett comes home to Tiffany and he brought her something to eat, and he tells her that, you know, he missed his wife, and they go to kissing and all that. She was like, oh, you trying to get something tonight? And he was like, I mean, yeah. And so they go to getting it and doing it on the couch, okay? Which was cute. Oh, they did talk about how they was getting married in a few days, and you know how they can't believe they getting married, but they're glad they're doing it. And he said he know he isn't perfect, and she's like, I know, you know what I'm saying, you're not perfect, but and he got her a sandwich, and they get to getting it on the couch. I'm like, okay, this is, you know, cute, I guess. I don't really care, but you know, okay. So we see Camille doing her concession speech. Apparently she has lost the race against Otis Perry, and she says people don't like change. Change is gonna come slowly. This is a speech for us, for the people, for the Black Lives Matter, you know what I'm saying? That change is gonna come slowly. You gotta fight, and you know the fight is not over yet. And so the whole time I'm like, where's Otis? We ain't seen him hardly at all. And see, we see Otis is at home, and Rose is congratulating him. She asked him why he didn't come to the court, and he says, well, why would I settle for one brother when I can own the both of them? And he got that look on his face. I'm like, child, he's doing the most. Keisha at the abortion clinic or the hospital or whatever, and you know, she's kind of like contemplating what she's gonna do, and Nina comes in to talk to her, and she tells Nina that she cannot do it. And Nina's like, okay, I mean, okay, are you sure you don't want to do this? And she says, I don't know. Are you ready to raise this child, is what she's saying. She says, I don't know what I want to do. You know how people say everything happens for a reason. Maybe this happened for a reason. You know, what if Marani's mother had aborted him? What would have happened to me? So she just needs some time to think about it. She might not necessarily keep the baby like with her. She might have the baby and give it up for adoption or something like that as well. So we don't know what she's gonna do yet. Kevin comes home and he hears Nina and Kevin is weird this episode. He comes home and he hears Nina and Keisha in the room, and he goes in the room and she just tells him, I'm pregnant, or Nina says she's pregnant. And he's like, with that crazy man, baby, you're not gonna keep it, are you? And she's like, shut up, this is her choice. Like, boy, what's wrong with you? And he gets upset and he walks out the house. I think it's time for him to go back to therapy, because it's a lot that's happened to him, you know, in the past 2 or 3 years, to him, around him, in his family. So it's possibly, you know, it's time for him to possibly go back to therapy, in my personal opinion, because I feel like, you know, he doesn't know how to deal with things, and he comes across wrong. Like, you know, he's not coming across how he wants to, is what I'm trying to say. Jake is with Imani and they're eating, and Jake is like, man, I didn't know you know how to cook. And she was like, yeah, I started raising myself since I was like 15, so I absolutely know how to cook or whatever. And so he asked her, what does manslaughter mean? And she says it means that you killed somebody but you didn't mean to do it, or you had to do it, you didn't want to do it. And he says, well, why did your dad, he starts questioning her about the dad. Why did you kill your dad? Because he was trying to kill me. Well, why he was trying to kill you? And she says, because he wanted a boy. And he was like, I know what you are. And he was like, you was born one way, but you feel different on the inside or whatever. And she was like, yeah, you know. And he keep on eating. And she's like, well, how do you feel about that? He was like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I read about it in school. I mean, it's cool. It's not like you like a bad person or nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's cool. Imani says, well, I like this fancy school you're going to or whatever. And he was like, well, are y'all going to be able to afford to keep me in the school? And she said, well, we'll figure something out. And then go to keep eating. And then we see Papa, he's at church, and he's thinking and, you know, contemplating. And he goes home. I guess the church is on the front part. They live in the back or whatever. So he walks back to the back, and Papa is there together, and they have a little talk. He asks him, did he do it? And he says, basically he says nobody is perfect. And he's, you know, he used the money that the man gave him to help them, because he wants to be able to give him and his mother the world. And he says, well, we don't want the world. We just wanted you. And so now, you know, this man got himself in trouble. Like, I hope he don't go to jail or get killed, you know, because these gangsters you was money laundering with, so that ain't cool. I'm not a bad person. I'm just ambitious. And Papa's like, what kind of man will I be? He said, hopefully better than me. And they hug each other. I felt for him in that moment. Papa is really grown as a character this season. I love him. Jake needs to do his dishes. He getting up talking about he finna go watch TV. And Imani is like, you need to wash these dishes. I made dinner. You can bust these dishes down. And he was like, so this is what it's going to be like? You're going to be bossing me around, telling me what to do? She says, I'm not trying to be your mama, but I am trying to teach you how to be responsible. Because this is what you need, some rules and regulations, okay? You need to learn how to be a responsible child. Stop playing. And he was like, I am responsible. And she was like, I mean, I'm responsible sometimes. She says, listen, I done had a bad stepmama before. I done been through that cycle before, so I'm not trying to do that to you. But we're going to have to respect each other up in this house. You can't just do whatever you want to do. Like, that's why you in this situation in the first place. That's what I want to say. I'm not going to be picking up after you and cleaning up after you like I'm your maid or whatever. Let's try to work together to make this house be clean and do what we need to do. And he's like, okay. And he goes to pick up the dishes and he goes to do the dishes. You see Kevin, he goes over to Gemma's house. Her hair was really cute in a little puffs. I thought that was super cute. And she was like, do you want to talk? And he was like, there's just a lot of going on, you know what I'm saying? I don't really want to talk about it. She said, so what you gonna do? Are you gonna keep it all inside? And he says, well, yeah. And she was like, well, I used to do that too, you know, and it worked for me, you know, until I tried to kill myself. And he was like, what? How come I don't know that? And she was like, nobody knows but my therapist and my dad, you know, my parents or whatever. But he said that he had a therapist at one time too. And she was like, well, maybe you should go back. And he asked her, do she like her therapist? And she was like, he an old man with a crazy eye. Like, no, I don't like, I mean, what you think? You know what I mean? But she did tell him that, you know, she wanted him to be her first. And he was like, you told him that? He was like, yeah, he just told me to make sure that I'm sure or whatever. And he was like, are you sure? And she was like, yes. And so they did a little kiss, honey. And the next thing we know, they laying in the bed together. I said, you out here fornicating, out here having sex. I mean, I don't really be tripping that much when teenagers have sex. Like, we all didn't have sex when we was a teenager. It's part of being a teenager. Unfortunately, okay? I know people wish their kids never had sex. He was like, damn, I didn't know it was going to be that fast. Like, it was over. She was like, she was like, yeah, this is normal. It's perfectly normal for the first time, you know? And he was like, man, the pornos make it look so good. Like, it looks so real. Like, it was like you were saying. He was like, so anyway, what you doing tomorrow? Then we see Jada and Tiff. It's time for the wedding. They're getting ready for the wedding. And she says she's scared. And, you know, Jada's trying to comfort her. And she says, well, do you have any advice for me? And she says, I don't know. I've never been married. I was like, oh, that's so sad. Like, that made me so sad. And that's the case for a lot of women. Not to say that having marriage is the end all be all. But that was just sad to see how many single, available, eligible black women are out here that don't have no husband or whatever. But she got a boyfriend though, so she good. She goes on out and Emmett is talking to her and him, and he wants to give her words of wisdom, and she's just said you need to act in her presence or her absence. That's the same way you would act in her presence. And so Gemma and Kevin arrive, and Papa, I think he came too. Trig. Then we go to Trig. He gets a knock on the door. It's Otis Perry. So Otis Perry is there to offer him a job. He said it's no hard feelings. You know, it's no big deal. Now that he got this new job, he needs somebody to handle his business on the streets. Okay? So will he do it? You'll be able to make money. I'll be able to teach you this, and I'll be able to show you the game. Trig is just like, okay. I'm like, so you went the whole season hating this nigga for killing your brother. And just like that, you decided to work for him. Now, I know they needed money for Jake to go to school, but you wasn't going to try to do nothing else before you just said yes? But, okay, I guess it's going to give us another storyline. So as he's leaving out the door, he's like, what's the new sheriff in town? Something. And he said he was going to trade out the police chief for his head of security. I said, good night. So you will have everything you need. Don't worry about it. Ain't going to be no police. Child, too much. We at the wedding. It's really cute. And it's a speak now or forever hold your peace. And everybody looked at Darnell like, shut your mouth up, okay? So we get the I do exchange. We get the rings exchange. And they's married now. I was like, okay, we married. Cool. They crossed the threshold. You know, we got the montage music in the house. And they go to getting busy, honey. And then we see Papa. He's putting on Maisha chain. Or, yeah, he's putting on her chain or whatever. And then we see Monty and Jake and Trig. They're all together. You know, it's cute. And then we see Kevin and Gemma. Dre and... you know, it's kind of like that wrap up at the end of the episode. Dre and Nina kiss and they dance with each other. It's really cute. And Keisha, she's laying in her bed. She's looking depressed, but then she sits up. And then we see her the next morning. She put on her shoes and she goes to running. And that's it. Cut. Season 3. The Shy. Okay? It was a good episode. It was a cute little ending to the season. It was kind of wrapped up in a bow a little bit too tight for me. I thought this season was okay. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I thought it was okay. They dragged the Keisha storyline out way too long. Okay, like way too long. I feel like, how did Trig go from hating this nigga to now you gonna be working for him? I know you need money, but damn. Like, you could have got a job. I'm just saying, like, y'all could have got a job. Y'all could have sold drugs on your own. Could have joined the other gang. I don't know, child. But I want to hear what your thoughts about this season was. So let me know what you thought about everything that happened on this episode. We did get some answers. We didn't get a whole lot of answers this season, but we got a little bit of answers. So let me know your thoughts. I don't know if I'm going to do this next season. I'm not going to lie to y'all. But we'll see, because I have this thing. Once I say I'm going to do it, like, I can't not do it. So Power Book 2 is coming. I want to do that one. It's coming in September. So I'm definitely going to be doing Power Book 2. That looks like a good look for me. So I'm doing Lovecraft Country, Power Book 2. Right now, we're about to finish up P-Valley in the next couple of weeks, okay? So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share my video with all your friends. I will holler at you next time. Peace.